everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And y'all, I came in today to weigh in on this whole thing with T.I. and Tiny. Now, I am not going to go into all the details because I know by now all of you have heard all the allegations, read everything on Instagram, and you know that a few of the ladies have gotten an attorney, Lisa Bloom. What I wanted to talk about is how we as a community handle accusations like this. Now, I know that in Atlanta, T.I. and Tiny are considered hip hop royalty. They both have been around for a while, they have moved into mainstream, and a lot of people, with their reality show, got to know them and fell in love with them. There is something that bothers me about when things like this happen. Because when it comes to celebrities, they have a public face, and that is the face that they let us see, the parts of their lives that they let us, into. And then they also have a private face, and that's the face that comes out when they are in their homes behind locked and closed doors. And we, as their fans and the community, we have to learn to distinguish between both. We also have to realize that both can exist at the same time. Meaning, when you look at Tiny, Tiny can be the sweetest, most loyal friend that a girl can have, a woman can have, and she can be a ride or die sister for her man. And we all know, and we've seen Tiny be that to her friends and her husband throughout the years. You know that T.I. has crossed over into mainstream, where he's doing media, movies, and he has started to garner the respect of not only the movie industry, but, local politicians there in Atlanta and all of that. But again, they have a private face. Now, I noticed when these accusations came out, like we always do, we, especially other Black women, the first things that we say is, why did they just now wait to come out? They're doing this for money. They are doing this for fame. If you are a consenting adult and you went into the situation, you knew what was going on, why are you now saying anything? And that's where I want to start. I want to say this. Whatever goes on between a couple in the confines of their bedroom, you're right, that is their business. If they want to swing left, right, that's on them. If they want to have threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, swinging from chandeliers, that is their business. If that's how they get down, that's fine. The only part of this story that bothers me and needs to be proven is this thing where the accusers are saying that they were given drugs or forced into taking drugs. Because there's one thing to consent to threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, because there are a lot of women that just want to be in close proximity to celebrities, so they'll agree to stuff like that. That is one thing. You're going in, eyes wide open. I'm about to have a threesome with T.I. and Tiny. We're going to party. We're going to have some fun. That is one thing. Fine, because all parties are consenting. But when you introduce drugs into the equation, when you are forcing someone to take drugs or coercing them into taking drugs to be able to control a situation. because the reports are that some of these women were so high that they were damn near comatose, limp, coming to with, their vaginas and their butts sore because while they were in this unconscious or altered state, they were taken advantage of. That's where I have a problem with it. Because if she is in an altered state or damn near unconscious, she is unable to consent. As soon as she lost her sense of being able to say yes or no to what was occurring, then you've crossed the line. That's where the problem is. So it bothers me when people say, they were grown, they knew what they were getting into when they walked into the bedroom. Yes, that is true. I'm not disputing that. But we have to, as other Black women, first of all, why are we the first to condemn other Black women? Why are we the first to come down hard on them? Y'all, I find it quite ironic that when I'm on, you know, out on social media and I'm reading the comment section, brothers are more apt to believe all of the negative comments that I was reading about the victims, were coming from Black women. When I was reading the comments of the Black men, the brothers, I will say 6 out of 10 of them believed the accusations. And as I started to read those comments, I was like, wow, so brothers are believing it, you know? Well, at least 6 out of 10 of them are. And almost all the comments that I read of Black women, they are attacking the victims right off. They do not err on the side of caution. They're going through this whole thing about why didn't they tell 2 years ago? Well, here's the answer to that. They told when it felt right for them. Situations like that can be traumatic. Some people, their tolerance for that is high. They can, survive it and go on with life. But some victims are truly traumatized. So it takes them a while to work through in their head, first of all, what they went through, how they felt, get their head back right before they are able to go outside of their head and share their story. Why don't we allow them to have a voice? Why do we immediately attack them? And see, this is why women who go through things like this are very reluctant to speak out because they know they're going to get this backlash. They know it. They know it. And I really don't understand that as women, why do we do it? Until you've walked a mile in that sister's shoes, who are we to be victim shaming and victim blaming another woman? Now, there's also another aspect of this that I want to talk about, and that is the relationship between T.I. and Tiny. I've always looked at their relationship as just a little bit dysfunctional, you know, in their business life and what they do for a living, how they make their living. They've been very successful. You know, um, Back in the day when Ti was in jail, Tiny and Toya had their little reality show. Tiny was holding down the home while Ti was doing his time. When he got out, they got together, they made plans, and they followed through. Ti got back into the music industry. He even, like I said, crossed over to making movies, and he was on a path to regain, his celebrity and get back, where he was. And Tiny was there at his side. Now, I believe that Tiny is madly in love with her husband. Y'all remember back when he was in jail and, we had heard some rumors and, some confirmations that one time Tiny went to visit him and I guess she got caught giving him the business, meaning a blowjob there in the prison. And, we were all, saying stuff like, well, she loved that man, girl. She would do anything. The sis was, handling her man even when he was in prison. She was holding him down. I believe that once T.I. got out and he started, his climb and his thing to regain his celebrity, Tiny started to get pushed a little bit into the back. And I believe some of it was by her choosing. She wanted to let T.I. lead that home, be the man in the house, be the husband. So she dimmed her light just a little bit so he can shine again, feel confident as a man. But I believe on T.I.'s side, as his shine started to come back, he started to minimize Tiny's role in helping him get it back. And the more and more he did it, the more and more he did it. And Tiny slowly started getting pushed further and further back. I believe that when T.I. felt that he had arrived again, he got a bit of a big head. And I don't mean a bit because I believe T.I. is quite arrogant. And once he felt that he had arrived again, this is when the infidelity started to, you know, creep out. Other women becoming interested in him because now he's back on top. And he forgot the woman that was holding him down. When no one else was coming visiting him when he was in prison, Tiny was there. Tiny was there with a home ready for him to come back to when he got out, a career that she was going to help him regain. She held him down. I'm not going to say that I don't think T.I. appreciates what Tiny did, but he actually really forgot. And Tiny, on her side, forgot her power. And giving her power, dimming her light to let her man shine. I believe over the years, Tiny forgot the strength that it took to not only support him while he was in prison, but support him when he came out. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it almost feels like when Tiny started getting whiffs of, him cheating on her, she turned her head a little bit. Now, I'm not going to say behind closed doors, didn't they argue, fuss, and fight about it? But in the public eye, Tiny tried to be supportive and show herself as the woman standing beside her man. And I believe that all the times that she did that, in T.I.'s eyes, instead of him turning and looking at this woman by his side, saying to himself, this girl is down for me. She is with me when I'm doing bad. She is with me when I'm doing good. She is with me when I'm done wrong and I need to apologize to her. And appreciating that, he took it for granted. And he also started to lose respect for her. You know, you know, I know that Tiny moved out for a while and, had her own place and, trying to sort through what was going on in her marriage. trying to get her footing back. But every time she went back, I believe that T.I. was saying to herself, I got her. I got her nose wide open. And I believe that Tiny, at one point, probably just made up in her mind, unconsciously maybe, I need to do what I need to do to hold on to my marriage. If I hear that he's cheating, the only way I'm going to get through this is if I don't acknowledge it publicly, you know, because I get nowhere when I try to leave. I get nowhere when I argue, fuss, and fight, and I love him, so I'm going to have to learn to live with it. I believe that that also probably led to this love life that they have, where they are inviting other people into their bedroom. I believe, once again, maybe this is something that T.I. wanted. And for Tiny to hold on to her marriage, she agreed to it, to keep him happy, to keep him at home. I guess she figured, well, if I do it here in the house, maybe he won't go out. At least this way I know what's going on. I'm part of it, blah, blah, blah. And then who knows, maybe over the years, she began to enjoy it herself because they were doing it as a couple, you know? And in that respect, and this is going to be something, y'all, I see Tiny as a bit of a victim too, a victim of circumstance. Now, it was a circumstance that she put herself in because she could have packed her shit, left, and stayed gone and let him, you know, do threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, and be swinging from chandeliers. She could have left, but like I said, she probably said, well, he's my husband. I'm going to, roll with him even in this. And to me, that's sad because when you look at what Tiny has been able to accomplish in her own right, being a part of a girl group for years, you know, after the group was over, able to maintain the lifestyle to which she had become accustomed to, that lifestyle of celebrity. She learned how to make money after that group was over, learned how to keep her name out there enough to where a network came to her and wanted to do a reality show with her and her friends. She did that on her own. I think sometimes as women, instead of recognize our recognizing our own strengths, we define ourselves by a we. And what I mean by that is, as a couple, you're saying, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do this. Because you may have a mate that, in my opinion, feels threatened by your success. Or in a relationship, it just seems like to me that T.I. never fully appreciated or celebrated what Tiny brought to their marriage, the success that she had had with her group. You know, there were a couple of times that I watched um, them, and when she talked or when they were trying to reform the group Tiny Candy and I keep right now, y'all, I can't remember Escape, when they were trying to reform the group and Tiny was going for practice or she wanted to talk about something that was going on, with the group. T.I. kind of looked at her as though, downplaying her success. And I remember at the time feeling like he's trying to minimize, her contribution to music. You know, um, he's not giving her just rewards for what she accomplished. She always has to be supportive of him. Now, he'll, it's almost like he's pretending to be supportive, but he also wants to let her know I'm not really all that impressed by, what you had going on in the past. We focus on what I'm doing. That's the impression that I got. And to me, when you have a man like that, he has ego and problems with his own manhood because a strong man doesn't, he celebrates his woman and it doesn't take from his manhood. We have a bunch of other celebrities where the wife is the celebrity and the husband, is behind the scenes and they make it work, you know. When that woman is out there receiving her awards, her accolades, that husband is behind her 100%. Look at Angela Bassett and Courtney Vance. Angela Bassett has done some major movies, Tina Turner and just all the movies that she played in, the Jackson movie and all of that. Now, Courtney Vance, her husband, he's an actor too, and he's done several roles, but not the major roles that Angela does. And I have seen him when she's walking up on the stage and the camera's on his face, the pride that that he shows and the support and the love is something to to want. When you look at his face when he's watching his woman receive that award, you could tell he loves her so much. Um, Another couple that I noticed, Tamala Mann and her husband. I watched Tamala one time sing "Take Me to the King," and the camera while she was singing was on her husband's face. The pride that he showed when the audience was responding to Tamala, when Tamala had that audience in her hands. And it's a part at the end of the song when Tamala has the music stop and she sings a cappella, I surrender, and then they flashed to her husband, and I was looking at his face, and I was saying to myself, oh, to be loved like that. Because the look on that man's face, he was so freaking proud of his wife. And the love that he had for her just was like overflowing in the way he looked at her. I don't get that with T.I. when Tiny's career is brought up. You know, it's almost like he's sitting back like, okay, I don't know, y'all. That's just the feeling that I get. And the reason why I brought that up is because I believe that Tiny has boxed herself in when it comes to her husband. I believe that she did all of this because she was trying to hold on to her man. And now she's swept up in some mess. Now, something else I heard, y'all. I heard that one or two of these accusers have said that they don't want to be like R. Kelly's accusers. They do not want to be accused of lying, you know? So what they've decided to do is to take polygraph tests. Now, I know that those are not admissible in court, but what they also ask is for T.I. and Tiny to take one. Now, one of the accusers, I read something where she said this. She said, I could go out and find my own polygraph company. But if I do that, then people are going to accuse me of paying off the company to get the result that I want. So what she's asked is for any reputable polygraph company in the country to contact her. It would be a company she didn't go out and solicit, they come to her. She wants them to ask her in this test that she's going to take about all the allegations, that she is pointing at Tiny and T.I. Now, my thing is this. If this girl goes and takes that test and she passes, again, it's not admissible in court, but in every other situation, when people take polygraph tests, we believe them. But because it's Tiny and T.I., if she passes, then what, y'all? Then if she takes one and she passes, she has invited T.I. and Tiny, if they're telling the truth, and this didn't happen, she's invited them to take one. What if they fail? Then what? Y'all, in ending my video, I'm going to say this. Celebrities are people too. I started this video by saying they have a public face and they have a private face. We get so used to that public face. We get so caught up in that public face in their career and their celebrities that we forget that they're mere humans like we are. We automatically believe everything that they say. And y'all, what's funny, what I find ironic, is that when the evidence comes out, when it's laid out for us and, you know, there's supporting documents, supporting video, we'll support it anyway. And we are forced to face the reality that that favorite celebrity could possibly have done something terrible. We find it hard to face it. We will defend them to the end in their wrongdoing. Look at the situation with R. Kelly. They ran those accusers into the ground. Why didn't you tell? You went in, your mama sold you to him. All of that may be true. But the fact of the matter is, R. Kelly did that shit. He was with those young girls. Regardless of whether they mamas sold him those girls or not. He paid the money for them. You are excusing R. Kelly by saying, well, the mother sold their daughters to him. But you don't on this in your mind say, but R. Kelly bought them over and over and over again. He filmed himself with them, pissing on them, having them do all kinds of crazy shit. Some of you, I don't understand your thinking. Are we so busy trying to support a celebrity, being a fan, that we excuse them of horrendous behavior? I mean, come on, y'all. We've been to this rodeo before. I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to get out of here. I'm one of those women that until the accused proved that they didn't do it, I'm going to err on the side of the woman. Let all of the evidence come out. Let them have their day in court. Let them have their say. Because if either side is lying, evidence is going to support that. If they get these women in court and, they have to recount their stories, their situations, where it happened, provide supporting documentation, information, and they can't come up with the goods, then all right, they lying. But if they get in court and they are able to bring forth supporting information and we turn a blind eye, are we no better than those Trump supporters who saw this man do whatever he wanted to do, and they still support him. Because a couple of y'all, quite a few of y'all, are starting to look like the Trump cult in supporting these men in their dirty deeds, or these celebrities in their dirty deeds. And you should stop and wonder why you get so caught up in their celebrity that you can't see the forest for the trees, or you can't bring yourself to imagine them doing wrong. Isn't that what those Trump supporters are doing? Think about it, y'all. We call them a cult. We refer to them as a cult because they have sat and watched 4 years while he did all his shit, and they still support him. Women falling out the woodworks accusing him of sexual abuse. They still support him. All the shit that he's done, they still support him. A cult. So, what does that make the people who turn a blind eye to these black celebrities that have been accused of things? You know, we got an excuse for them. We still support them. I don't know, y'all. I want y'all to leave down in the comments what you think of it. Um, do you believe any of the survivors? Now, I'm not saying put down in there, yeah, I believe them, but why did they wait 2 years? Why did they wait this amount of time? Y'all, they come out when it feels right for them. When they have worked through it in their own heads and they have gotten to a place where they can talk about it. Some women immediately tell, but you have others who it takes them a little bit to be able to talk about what they went through. Oh, y'all, some of y'all are something else. And this is not for the fellas. I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed that as black women, we always call each other sister and girl, and we show such a love for each other sometimes. But in other times, man, we are so freaking cruel to each other. We talk about the world fucking over us. We fuck over each other. We fuck over each other. We hurt each other. We attack each other. I'm not that kind of girlfriend. I'm not that kind of friend. You know, one of my friends came to me, and told me something like this. I would be crying with her. I would be on her side until I saw that she lied. That's the kind of friend I am. That's the kind of black woman I am. You know, I don't know, y'all. I'm curious to see how all of this is going to play out with T.I. and Tiny. I saw that the production of their show has been suspended amid the allegations that have been put against them. So this is getting serious, y'all. Mainstream media has picked it up, and this is going to be damaging to their brand. I'm also a little curious about some of their celebrity friends, and more specifically, Kandi, because I remember not so long ago on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Phaedra told Portia a little story about Kandi and Todd wanting to drug Portia and take her back to their quote unquote sex dungeon and have their way with her. And we all went crazy. I think Phaedra was fired for that, or amongst other reasons, but that was like the major reason because people were saying that with those allegations, it could, mess up Kandi's brand. Why would they say that? Blah, 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 blah. But now I'm wondering if Phaedra wasn't onto something. She had hung out with Candy and her crew for a little bit when they were cool. Maybe she got wind of something that at the time we didn't know about, you know? And she was warning Portia. Because in this story that recently came out with T.I. and Tiny, a lot of these women are saying that T.I. and Tiny had suitcases full of sex toys that they used on them. Suitcases full of sex toys. What kind of business does Candy have? A sex toy company. I just find it quite ironic, y'all. I believe that Atlanta crew, Tiny's friends, if any of this is true right now, they are shaking in their boots. You know what I'm saying? Because as this investigation progresses, if there's any truth to it, anybody who participated in those drug-filled orgies where women were, forcibly given drugs or coerced into taking drugs or any kind of shit that went against, their will, they should be a little bit worried right about now. And Candy has let it known that she's freaky deaky, you know? And she's also been friends with Tiny for 30 years. 30 years, y'all. She knows some of this. They are besties. Trust me when I say, I'm not accusing her of being involved, but trust me when I say, it don't look too good because of past statements of things that we have seen play out over the past few years. And y'all, as soon as I heard this, I raced back in my head and I thought about that whole situation with Phaedra and what Phaedra told Portia. And then what happened when Portia called herself confronting Candy about it. How y'all rained down holy hell on Portia and Phaedra. There might have been some truth to it now, y'all. I don't know. But I'm about to get out of here. I've talked long enough. Again, leave down in the comments what you think about it. You guys stay safe. And as always, thank you for watching my video. Take care now. Bye-bye.